Well, welcome to this episode of ISV Talks. I'm Carol Livingston with Dynamics Connections and your host of ISV Talks. On this week's video, I have Domas from Simplanova. So welcome, Domas.
Hello, Carol. Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting and having me here. I'm
Of
really happy
course,
to
of
join.
course. Yeah, it'll be fun to get to know you and talk about Simplanova. I'm very excited about this interview. So introduce yourself. Tell us how long you've been with the company.
Well, I've been within the company for 6 years already. In general, I'm working in Dynamics. Previously, I've been in the IT business for a long time. Previously, I worked in aviation and joined Dynamics back in 2017 when guys
Okay.
from Simplanova invited me. And basically, I'm responsible for all the sales activities within the company, responsible for
Okay.
basically attracting all new customers.
Okay, awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about the company. What's kind of the history of Simplanova? How long have they been around?
Well, we started our operations back in 2013, while trying and helping to solve the one big challenge for the partners at the time. Because, back in 2013, Microsoft launched NAV 2013, the RTC version. And at that point, that was quite a big challenge to do those transitions from old classic versions to the
Right?
RTC. And we noticed that there are some ways how we can make this procedure easier, how to make these upgrades easier, while eliminating some manual work. For example, there is a transition from the classic reports to RDLC reports, and it's really a headache, to convert them manually, to create the layout from scratch and so on. So we started building the tools that would allow us to do everything automatically. So, of course, initially that was the idea that it should help for us while we were doing those upgrade projects. And well, later on, we decided that we can share this infrastructure with the clients as well. I mean, the clients, the partners. Simplanova,
Okay.
we are not, the usual Microsoft Dynamics partner that would sell licenses and so on. We are basically working only with partners. So the main idea is to help them to optimize their work with upgrade projects. I mean, we are
Mhm.
helping their clients to move their solutions to the latest Dynamics versions easier. So they can either use our tools or they can use our services.
Mhm.
And well, this was the idea how we started 10 years ago. Of course, our portfolio grew up and right now we are providing more services for the partners. But the main idea, the goal to start the business was, of course, to help partners to make these migrations easier for them.
Yeah. So 10 years of kind of working with creating upgrade tools. I didn't realize that you started with NAV from classic NAV to 2013. So today, what are Simplanova's services?
Still, one of the core activities would be to help partners to do those upgrades. I would say Microsoft is helping for us because, there was a transition from the classic versions to RTC. Back in 2018, Microsoft done another one transition. They launched Business Central, and there is a switch of the languages from CAL to AL. So once again, we noticed that we need to create some tools that would allow us to work easier with those type of transitions, because the transition from classic versions to R to C is not that complex while comparing the transition from CAL to AL. So
Hmm.
we've
Gotcha.
put quite some efforts to
Yeah.
create Simplanova's AL tool that would help either both for us and for the partners to handle those upgrades. But yeah, at the same time, we just simply noticed that partners request some help, not just for the upgrade projects, but they need some support after the upgrade. Like if they are doing a hybrid upgrade, which means that part of the solution we are upgrading, another part should be re-implemented. So we, let's say, divided our developers into two parts. We have teams that are working only with upgrades because they have the right knowledge, the right experience, and so on. And we have another part, it's experienced NAV Business Central developers who are responsible for helping partners to create new functionalities, either for those projects that we finished, let's say for the upgrades, or if the partner, I don't know, if he's creating a new add-on, if he's doing a new implementation and so on. So we can support here as well. I could divide Simplanova into 3 different parts. One of them, experienced team of developers that are handling only upgrades. So we're really efficient in this field. We have a proper infrastructure. I would like to make like a comparison. For example, if you are working in auto industry, the usual partner, he knows how to handle everything, how to change tires, how to fix engines, how to fix gearbox. We are specializing in gearbox business, and we are doing that every day. So let's say if the partner has some issues with an upgrade, if he lacks some experience there, we can always support. Another part would be a team of experts who are working with our tools. We are always building new tools, improving them for 2 reasons. One of them is to help internally to work with upgrade projects, and another one is to share the knowledge and the infrastructure with partners who are handling upgrades by themselves. And the third part, developers who can basically help with all kind of requests that partners has. So either they can work as a team members, or we can just simply work on various different projects upon the request.
So you said 3 parts.
The first part, upgrade team. Second part, team that are working on building these tools for upgrades. And the third part is the development services in general.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for that. And so when you say upgrade, I just want to clarify. So it's upgrade from kind of the on-prem NAV or NAV versions prior to Business Central, right? So upgrading from NAV to Business Central, or
I would say we can do the upgrade basically from all the versions. The oldest one that we've done, I believe it was NAV 2.0. So 2.0, I believe it was created back in 2000, something like that. So really old
okay,
solution.
way back.
Yes, and right now, basically all our upgrades are to the latest Business Central versions, because from our experience,
Yeah.
it's just simply the right and correct path, just to move to the latest version of Business Central. With very, very rare exceptions, we still can do the upgrades to BC 14th, which is still the old RTC version, if partners already has this license. But I know Microsoft is no longer selling them, so it shouldn't be that easy. But we can do that if the partner requests to do that. And yeah, we can do both. We can do upgrades to the on-prem versions. We can move to SaaS. Everything depends on the client's requests. Especially right now, when Microsoft launched Universal Code Initiative back in 2022, when we were in directions in Orlando. And surprisingly, till this day, there are still quite a lot of partners that don't know anything, know nothing about this initiative. So let me introduce a little bit what it is. From the year of 2023, if the end user has a solution which has base app modifications, they need to pay some extra charges per user per year, if I'm not mistaken. As well, I'm not selling the licenses, so I don't know all the information, but if your solution is not cloud ready from the year of 2024, there will be also additional charges per user per year. So right now, everyone is, willing to do those upgrades, not just to the on-prem or cloud version, but if they are doing the upgrade to on-prem version, they need to make sure that the code itself will be cloud ready. So, the end user would not need to pay any additional charges. So yeah, we are helping with that as well, because it would be right now, I believe, more an exception that the partner would request to do the upgrade only to on-prem version, but not the on-prem with cloud-ready solution. So 2 options currently: on-prem cloud ready or to SaaS. And the difference between them is regarding from the evaluation point of view, it's very minimal. If you are moving to SaaS, we would need to spend a little bit more in the phases regarding data migration, but from the technical point of view, basically it would be the same approach to do the project. So we can also encourage
Yeah,
them to move to the cloud, as then you won't have such a big headache regarding these upgrades because it will
great.
go automatically at that point.
So I mean,
Yes,
this is like a huge issue for a lot of partners. So it sounds like they would be
it
wanting to
is.
get,
And as I've mentioned once again, Microsoft is helping for us at that point as well, because Microsoft is pushing partners
yeah,
to do those upgrades. And at the same time, Microsoft is introducing new stuff for the end users, that Business Central cloud version is the future. It works well, and end users are communicating with the partners and also giving the pressure that, guys,
yeah.
let's move to the new version. This is the way for us, how we
Mhm.
are helping for them. We are accelerating the transition to Business Central. And, regarding those upgrades also, there are different approaches how we can help partners. One of them is we can do a full upgrade with all the customizations as is, or we can do the clean start upgrade project where we will simply migrate the data, and after that it's the
Yeah,
project which would require around week 2 weeks depending on the size of the database. You just simply can do this transition really quick and easy.
becomes more of a data migration kind of new implementation versus,
Yes.
you know,
uh,
taking their customizations and data and everything and upgrading it, so to speak, to make it
yes,
work in a new
I can
environment.
explain I can explain
Yeah.
what are the scenarios when the clients are choosing the clean start approach. So for example, if the solution was implemented back in 2005, for example,
Great.
might be the case that there are a lot of customizations that are no longer in use. Maybe some of the customizations are already covered by the standard
Yeah.
functionalities in Business Central. So why to upgrade these customizations? We can just simply migrate the data and that's it. And you can use purely standard Business Central. If you will need some additional functionalities on top of that, okay, that's not an issue as well. We can build it afterward. But easy and simple approach, just to migrate the data and you can enjoy the latest version of Business Central. Another reason why some of the partners are giving this solution for their end customers is, for example, if the end customer has really heavily customized solution, and if the original quote for an upgrade project is really huge and they are not convinced that we would like to have Business Central. So sometimes we are just simply giving a suggestion, let's migrate their data, so they can play around with Business Central with their own data and see how it looks like.
Mhm.
So this is like one of the sales steps for the partners, how they can convince the end user to do the transition to Business Central, which really helps, because the
Yeah.
initial step for the data migration, on average, if I would do the evaluation, data migration projects requires from, let's say, 30 to 150 hours in between, depending on the size of the database. So they are quite cheap comparing with the custom upgrade. This is the
Mhm.
way how you can convince the client to do the full upgrade.
Good way for them to see the new software with their data, right? And they
Yes,
can play
yes,
with
yes,
it in a sandbox and a kind of a trial basis. So yeah, it's a great idea. I like that.
yes. Sometimes still regarding those heavily customized solutions,
Hmm.
for partners, it might be difficult to sell these upgrades, because while taking the statistics that we have, for example, previously, if we are evaluating the migrations from the classic versions to RTC, on average, the upgrade project was from, let's say, 300 hours to 500 hours. 500 hours project,
Wow.
we mentioned that, well, this is kind of big project. Right now, if we are doing the transition from classic versions to Business Central, or from RTC to Business Central, on average, an upgrade project might require from like 700 hours to 1,200 hours, something
Wow.
like that.
Yeah.
The biggest that we have estimated exceeded 10,000 hours, but this is more
Okay.
an exception rather than the rule.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
and usually when the end customer is communicating with the partner, he's telling that we need everything. Please convert all the solution as is for 100%.
Yeah.
But then we
But are they
but then we
using
face
it
the
all?
reality.
Right. Yeah. And the cost, right?
Yeah, we face the
Mm.
reality regarding the cost, and when they see the cost, they are saying that still we need everything, but you need to do something with the numbers. For those kind of things, we also have a solution, and one of them is to do a proper analysis prior the project. What do I mean by that? We need to see what actually your client is using and what he's not using. We do have a package of tools. One of them is object usage tool, which partner downloads from our site and implements into his client solution. And within a matter of 2-3 months, he will get the analysis regarding the part of the solution which his client is actually using and which is no longer used. So this gives a leverage for partner to tell the end customer that, listen, it's not the case
Okay.
that you are using. Gives a leverage for partner to tell for the end customer that, listen, it's not the case
Okay.
that you are using everything. We
Yeah.
can
You're
for
not
sure
using
drop this
everything.
and that.
Right?
Yes.
Like I need everything. I definitely need it all, but then reality is if you monitor it, it probably reality is that they don't use it all.
Yes. And just for, let's say, funny fact, sometimes I like to open those solution objects that clients are sharing with us, and I'm just, let's say, going through the reports, and I'm checking what are the names for these reports, and I can see a test report. Then I can see a report
Mm,
for Jenny,
might
which
be
might be the
yeah.
yeah, might be the case that she's no longer with the
Oh yeah.
company. So
Jenny's not even there. Yeah, but the Jenny
yeah.
report lives on, right?
Yeah, it lives on
Oh
his life,
gosh.
even though that the report itself is not
Yeah.
in use. And according to our estimations, it would take, I don't know, maybe 2 days, to upgrade this report, which is not needed. So
Not
yeah,
needed. Okay.
so we
Yeah.
like, to, I can't say that we are educating our partners how to handle these upgrade projects, but we are telling all the
Right.
time that if you
Yeah.
want to have cost-effective upgrade, a successful upgrade, we need to do a proper preparation prior. We need to do the analysis to find out what actually the end customer is using, what he's not using. Maybe some of the parts of the solution can be already covered by the standard functionalities of Business
Yeah.
Central.
It might be
And
in the product, so you don't
yes,
need
yes,
that.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And another
Hmm.
one really important thing is to find those crucial parts that for sure needs to be upgraded, but there might be some limitations while doing the upgrade because still there is quite a challenging transition from CAL to AL. And there is a
Hmm.
difference in general between the solutions. For example, previously client most probably was using Windows client. Right now he needs to use the web client. Functionalities regarding
Oh,
file management
right.
will work in the different way.
Hmm.
And before the project, we need to identify all these, possible pain points and how these pain points we should solve. And, to
Yeah.
make sure that we are going to be prepared for that. And it wouldn't be the
Yeah.
case that a week before delivery, we will inform the end customer that, listen, we have some issues here and here. So
Yeah.
we will find a solution, but here is the challenge. So it's better, to know what are going to be the challenges before the project than during the project or before the delivery date, just to
Hmm.
make sure that we could handle properly the expectations and everyone would
Yeah.
be happy in this case. So yeah, that's important. That's why we are preparing all the evaluation and analysis for the partners before doing all the upgrades for
Hmm.
free. You just need to use
Oh,
the
yeah.
Simplanova's
And
portal.
okay. So how do they
Yeah,
access that?
there is a link, portal.simplanova.com. So all Microsoft partners can use this link
Okay.
and create a request for quote. You just need to upload all the required information regarding the project. For example, what's the current version of the solution? What's the target? Are you going to the on-prem version or SaaS? What's the size of the database? How many companies there are, etc. Fill in all this required information, and in a matter of 10 business days, we will prepare you a fixed price proposal. And at the same time, you will have the analysis, which will be as a document for you with which you can go to your end client and show him the analysis of his solution. All the partners will see how much time we are going to spend per object, how much time we are going to spend while converting the objects, how much time we are going to spend while doing data migration, how much time it will require for us to test the solution, and so on. So we are quite transparent with that, and we are taking all the risks. So it means that if something will not go according to the plan regarding our evaluation, that's completely on us. So we are taking all the responsibility. And afterward, we will provide the support period as well for the delivered solutions. If there will be any issues, if you will find that something is not working in the way that it should work, that's our responsibility to fix that. And at the same time, because we are doing a good preparation before the project, and because we want to save time for both sides, for the partner, that he would not spend much time while listing these issues and our team solving these issues, we are doing a proper preparation that during the support period, they won't find any issues.
Right. So
That's
a lot of thought, a lot of discovery and analysis. On that portal, I know you said they can go in and fill out, kind of like all the information about that client. Are there tools that they can use, the partner can use to gather that in a more automated way, or?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you for mentioning that, because sometimes it is a headache for
Yeah.
partners to gather all this information. So we do have an upgrade assessment tool, which also can be downloaded from another site of Simplanova, where you can find completely all the tools that we have, which are available for partners. So with this assessment tool, if you would install it into your client's environment, it requires, just to import the objects and compile them. So instantly, with the matter of a couple of presses, you will get the information regarding the solution, like what's the current version. You will find out how many custom tables you have in the solution, how many customized standard tables, what the size of the database, and so on. And you will find out also information regarding the add-ons, how many add-ons you have in the solution, what kind of add-ons.
Might be
So
third-party add-ons,
yes,
correct?
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yes.
And I will switch a topic a little bit regarding these evaluations. This is one of the problems that sometimes we have with those evaluations, that clients are sharing the solution objects. And when I ask, do you have any add-ons? No, we don't have any add-ons in the solution. And then I'm opening the FOB file and I see that
Okay.
there's
Yeah.
like 4
I don't
add-ons in
really.
it.
Yeah.
And maybe they were implemented 10, 15 years ago, but most probably they don't use them. So we don't know what's going to be in the future. Are they going to use or
Yeah.
not? So sometimes partners don't know whether there are or not any add-ons in the solution. So for those kind of things,
Yeah.
this assessment tool would definitely help.
That would help. Yeah, identify. Yeah, that
Yes.
happens, right? Somebody way back at the beginning implemented and they added certain third parties, and now everybody's used to it. They don't realize it's not part of the base system, right?
Yes.
So,
And one of the challenges is that sometimes the end customer would like to do an upgrade and he would like still to use the same add-on, but the
oh,
problem is that this add-on is not available within the latest version. Right now, I would say back in 2022, the tendency was that Simplanova was working more for ISVs than the regular WAR partners while upgrading the end customers. We had a huge request while upgrading add-on solutions to the latest BC versions, because it's a crucial business for add-on providers to make sure that their solution will be available in the latest versions. So they could not just sell these add-ons for new customers, but also that they could upgrade the existing ones to the latest version that has a request to upgrade.
yeah. How many upgrades have you done over several years?
In general, we've completed for sure more than 500 upgrades
Oh,
since we started working. I don't have the exact statistics how many of them Business Central, because we started back in 2013, so there were upgrades that we were doing from the classic versions to RTCs, and sometimes those solutions that we've upgraded from classic to RTCs right now we are upgrading to the Business Central. So because
Okay.
in one way or another, we have quite good relationships with our partners.
Yeah.
And if we've successfully upgraded one of their customers to the RTC versions, for sure they will use our services to upgrade the older RTC version to the Business Central. So we see the tendency
Yeah,
that,
that makes
oh, we
sense.
are upgrading. Yeah, we are upgrading the solution that was already upgraded by us
Right.
some time ago.
So that's a good point. So when partners start working with you and getting, using either your tools and doing some of the upgrade services themselves or engaging with you to assist with projects, like you mentioned, using the assessment tool and getting that free estimate on a project. But once they complete a project, a partner is working with you, they kind of realize that this is a good partnership and it can really help them with moving their clients to Business Central if that's what their clients want to do at this point in time.
We need to take into consideration one thing. Usually for partners, upgrades are not the core activities usually that they are doing. Their main activities is, to create their own products, to do
Yeah.
new implementations and so on. So one of the idea for them to use us, to use our services to accelerate this transition to Business Central is simply to make sure that their hands are free to work on their core activities, but not on the upgrades. And even though I could give you the example, for example, if the company is doing on average 2 to 5 upgrades a year, while comparing with us, we are doing around 50, 60 upgrades a year. We are just more efficient in this field. We have
Yeah.
more experience. We know all the best practices. And basically, this is the thing why partners are considering working with us why they are using the services of ours. And as a comparison, also, there's one good case that I like to share sometimes with partners, because as I've mentioned, we have regular developers that they are experts in the field of basically Business Central. They are building new functionalities and so on. And we have a team who is regularly working only on upgrades. And there was a case that we really needed additional support for an upgrade team because we had really big project. So we took one guy from the development team that he could help us. And the thing is, the person had more than 20 years of experience while working with NAV and Business Central at the time. And the other guy from the upgrade team had 2 years of experience, but he was constantly working with upgrading reports. And we gave the same task for both of the guys. So the youngster with 2 years of experience was almost as twice as fast while comparing with the guy who had 20 years of experience. So this is the case why we are so efficient with these upgrades, as we are doing that constantly.
Yeah. And what are some of the tools that you have for migration, and how can partners use them and themselves or as part of a migration project?
So yeah, if partner would decide to work with us directly, these tools would be used by us, of course. If partner has enough resources, enough capacity to do the upgrade internally, he can just simply download the tools from our site. We can arrange the trial license. We can prepare the trial licenses for them, box.simplanova.com. If after the trial, the client would be satisfied with the efficiency of the tool, they could just simply buy the license. There are separate tools. One is Classic Converter, which helps to handle classic object conversion to RTC or Business Central, such as Report Converter, which converts classic reports to RDLC or AL automatically, which will save a lot of your time. There is a data port converter, which converts data ports to XML ports. And approximately a year ago, we've launched Simplanova's AL tool. We are calling it SALT, easier to remember. And this tool actually helps to handle the results that during the migration project, we need to use Microsoft TXT to AL tool while converting HAL to AL. And afterwards, clients will face with various errors and issues
Mm.
after the conversion. So Salt
Yeah.
handles quite a lot of these issues automatically. So it means, once again, you don't need to spend much manual work while fixing the errors. Our tool will do this instead of you. So as I've mentioned, it handles parts related to file management. It helps to move customizations from the standard objects to events. It also converts automatically options to enums and so on. So if your clients would like to, for all of them, I could offer a few suggestions. One of them is we can arrange a call. We can show you the demo, how these tools are actually working. And afterward, of course, it would be great that they could test these tools internally before buying them, just to see how actually they can help them, how much time these tools will save for them, and then to take the final decision.
Yeah. So, that's kind of going back to your point about your team is doing only upgrades, right? You have an upgrade team doing 50 or 60 upgrades every year. So, one, they're using the tools that you talked about. They're going to be way more efficient because they're doing it all the time. They know all the tips and tricks, hidden problems or challenges along the way.
And at the same time, we are creating a lot of other tools that we are using internally, a lot of small tools, because each new project show us something where we need to improve and adapt. So each time we are building our facility in this way that it would be really easy to work. And the main goal, since we started working, to make sure that we will spend as less time as possible with manual work. And if we can automate it, we will automate it.
What are the challenges for migrating to the cloud? Like, you talked about from CL to AL and NAV to Business Central, but what are some of those challenges?
The technological challenge, there are quite a lot of restrictions, because we need to understand one thing, that even though it's a Dynamics product, these are like two different solutions already. The old one, which works in one way, and the new one, which works in the other way. And they are similar, but they are not the same. One of the challenges is that, for example, if the end customer is using various custom .NET libraries, that would be a challenge if he would like to move to SaaS, because on SaaS, .NET is not supported, so you're not able to use it. So which means that our team, we need to find a proper workaround that this client would not lose his functionalities and he could use everything in the cloud version. So we are solving these kind of challenges. Another one challenge, right now we don't have this challenge, but it was before. For example, if you have a database which exceeds 100 gigabytes, without the support of Microsoft, you shouldn't do the upgrade. So we need to spend some additional time, to make sure that this upgrade project would be supported directly with Microsoft. Other technological challenges, as I've mentioned, regarding the file management, you will not be able to use completely in the same way the functionalities regarding file management on web client while comparing with the Windows client, due to it's not the Business Central limitation. It would be, I would say, limitation more of the web limitation due to security reasons. And well, the list goes on, and this is why partners are working with Simplanova, is that it's our goal to handle these limitations, that they don't need to spend much time while thinking, okay, we have this issue, how we can solve it. Well, I don't know. We need to Google it. We need to check it. We need to have a consultancy with someone. While if we are working, we already know what is the workaround, because most probably like a month ago, we already had the same issue. So we know how to handle it. And we are actually keen to share our knowledge. We are constantly making webinars about either the best practices or about the challenges that we've recently had. So, just to share this knowledge with partners as well. To be honest, this is one of the channels also which helps us to do new sales, because in one way I could say that, well, we should close the door for the new sale, because, well, we showed already how to solve the issue, so they are going to do that by themselves. But actually it works in the opposite way. Partners can see that, well, we know what we are doing, we know how to solve the issue, so okay, here's another solution, you can solve our issue.
So they see you solving one issue or that you've got, kind of that knowledge base, based on
Mhm.
how much experience you guys have, tons of it with upgrades. What about, it seems like customers that are on NAV aren't moving as quickly as customers generally, they've got a system that works well for them.
Mhm.
Why should they move? And why aren't partners able to kind of help convince them that they should upgrade their system?
Well, you mentioned one thing. If the system works for them, if they are happy while using the system, of course, it's not an easy task to convince the
Right.
client, but we need to take into consideration one thing. Let's say the security itself. If the client is working with the classic version, it's not supported by Microsoft. They don't have any security updates and so on. So basically, it's not safe to
Oh,
work with this kind of system. So there's reason number one. Reason number two, if you are going to do an upgrade to the latest BC versions, especially if you are moving to the cloud, afterward you can forget those upgrades because you will be renewed within each new Microsoft release, which happens every 6 months. You don't
right.
need
Okay.
to care about this anymore. All the time you will have the latest solution with latest changes, new functionalities, and so on. And to be honest, we cannot even compare the old classic solution with the current Business Central because it has way more modules and so on, much more functionalities
Yeah.
that the
Okay.
client can use. There are a lot of advantages, to be honest.
Yeah, but what if they had a very heavily customized solution, even more
Mhm.
challenging, right?
Yes, but once again, all the challenges can be solved. One of them, as I mentioned, if you have really heavily customized solution and it's an old solution, a big chance that for sure
Yeah.
like 30% or maybe 40% of the solution is no longer used. So
Yeah.
you just need to do the proper analysis. On the other hand, for those 60% that are in use while using the tools, you can upgrade a lot of parts automatically. Once again,
So
that will
let's
solve some of the issues.
so they could
So
take those customizations with them, so to speak, right, to the
yes,
new cloud
yes.
version.
Yes, and if right now I would check the average upgrade that we are doing, I would say it's a hybrid between the upgrade and the re-implementation. So what I mean by that is clients are usually doing the analysis, they are dropping 30-40% of the customizations that they had, 60% we will upgrade as is, and if he has additional requests, we can do additional development on top of that, which would be like a re-implementation
Mhm.
for some other things. And especially it's needed in those cases when, if you started the operations back in 2000 and right now you want to renew the system, most probably the business logic has changed during those years and so on. So we can just simply do the adaptation on the
Yeah.
new system. And another great thing, of course, is you had, a bunch of customizations on your solution and you don't want to support that by yourself, or the partner doesn't want to support those customizations. Right now, there are a lot of ISVs who
Mm.
can cover these customizations. And well, once again, you need to take into consideration that those add-on providers, they will support their add-ons all the time. They will improve those add-ons. They will add new functionalities and so on. So
Right.
sometimes it's a good option, once again, regarding those clean start upgrades. We can
Yeah,
migrate the data,
that is an option.
you can drop the customizations, so you can
Yeah.
cover some of the customizations by the standard of
Yeah.
Business Central, and you can find the right ISV for you.
Clients that say, CFO comes in and says, let's try to use the out of the box software, right? Let's not add on anything. Let's just see if we can use it. Maybe we adapt to the software versus trying to tailor the software to every little business process that we might think is important, and just try to use the system, as it was designed. It's built on best practices, it's built on best of breed practices across, many, many companies and many, many industries. So
Mhm.
yeah, kind of just changing gears just for a minute because I know we need to probably wrap up. But is there any new trends on the horizon that you're seeing? Kind of what are you seeing at your development center? So what new trends are you seeing? What is Microsoft kind of emphasizing to partners and development centers like you?
Well, in one way or another, they are investing quite a lot, and they are putting quite some efforts while helping for those kind of development centers like us, as we are the development center for Microsoft, how to work better with migrating the customers, because they are keen to move all their NAV users to make sure that they are going to be Business Central users after some time on the cloud, of course. And yeah, regarding the new things, of course, it's a trend, but it's trend most probably everywhere to implement AI solutions within Business Central and so on. Of course, I'm not
Yeah.
the expert in this field, but there are a lot of new things that Microsoft is willing to add and has already added. I've already seen those serious demos where you can make product descriptions while using AI
Yep.
within Business Central and so on, which is kind of nice. Of course, these are the first steps, but that's like a new trend for the partners. But at the same time, during the last conference, Dynamics Minds in
Yeah.
Slovenia, there were some sessions where partners shared their experience regarding the AI. Everyone mentioned that, yeah, most probably this is the future and you should try it, but it's not that advanced. And if you want to support properly the solution, some of the solution functionalities based on AI, that will require quite a lot of resources, which is
Yeah.
costly to support the solution itself, because it's still
Hmm.
the very first steps, I would
Yeah.
say.
So you're saying don't just go out and use ChatGPT to write your code or do your development.
Well, if you are talking about the chat GPT, so the some of the experience that our guys have, which are trying, to see how it works. So you can write the code, it will do everything fast. But if you want to make sure that there are no issues, you most probably will spend the same amount of time while checking if everything is okay regarding the
Yeah.
results that ChatGPT gave, and you see that, well, I would spend basically the same amount of time while just doing by
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
So,
So it
so
might
let's
not
say
save you time if you're
proofreading of the code requires basically the same amount
right.
of time
Yeah, you got to
as
kind of
building it from
audit
scratch.
it and make sure. Yeah.
Yes, yes,
So,
yes.
just to kind of in conclusion, is there one trend you're seeing that's driving partners to come talk to you?
Maybe it's not one trend. At this moment, I would say there are a lot of partners who are really busy with new implementations. And because they are busy with new implementations, one of the things is simply
Oh,
resources and knowledge
yeah.
why they are coming to us. So I would say for us, that's a trend that we didn't have like 5 years ago. So right now, for sure, we have more and more requests from our partners, to do that. And I can't tell whether it's a trend or not, but simply as partners has the, not, I would say the stress, but a pressure from the end customers to move to the latest versions. So,
Yeah.
and that's it regarding that part.
It just seems like over the next couple of years, yeah, with Microsoft wanting the software to be cloud ready and ending support for NAV and getting off of on-prem servers, there's just going to be quite a
Mhm.
lot of interest, I think, in the NAV customers to what's the proper steps, to get on Business Central.
You know,
So,
it's
and you
it's
guys
it's it
are helping prepare that way, right?
mm, for sure that is one of our main goals. And regarding, the lifespan for those kind of projects, Microsoft is trying to make sure that, with a matter maybe of 3 or 4 years, to make sure that the majority of the users would be on the latest versions. But even till this day, we still have clients that are using the classic version of NAV,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
which which was installed either back in
And it's not
2009
supported
or,
anymore.
yeah,
Yeah.
or 2011. So I
Yeah.
believe we have quite a big window still, to
Yeah.
migrate these clients to the
Well, and
latest
I think
latest
customers
versions.
will evaluate their plans if they're not already, because, they want to get on the modern technologies, but it's hard when you have to make all those changes and that is an investment. As you said, there's some investment in just determining what's the best path. Is it a clean start?
Mhm.
Is it an upgrade? But what are the best ways to get the
Yes.
solution that they love
Mm.
into a more modern
Yes.
environment? that they can take
Yes,
advantage of, right? Yeah.
and the quick note, which I haven't mentioned before, you just mentioned about those clean starts. So for all the partners, if they would visit the website of ours, they can get the quote for clean start even without communicating with us, because the form itself is on our website online. So you just add all the required information regarding the solution, and you will get
Okay.
the proposal within the same minute via mail. So you don't even need to
Awesome.
contact us directly.
So here's that contact information that Domas just talked about. You can reach out to Domas. There's this email here, but also Simplanova's website. It's simplanova.com. Simplanova. So thank you, Domas, for being part of our ISV talks and talking about how you're helping partners and customers move to the cloud.
It was a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for giving the opportunity to join you on this session. It was
Of
really
course.
pleasure talking with you. And hopefully it was a useful information for the partners who are going to watch. And hopefully we will be able to solve some of the problems that they
Yeah.
have, or challenges. I like more challenges rather than problems.
Right. Yeah. Don't struggle, partners. You reach out to Simplanova and get some expert help with those migrations for sure. Well, thank you, Domas, for joining today. And again, friends, we'll see you on the next episode of ISV Talks videos. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.